Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 28th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. This is the storm that impacted us yesterday. Taking a look here, you can see why the pressure was so low across the region, helped with some of that tidal overflow and some of the big waves swamping some of the coastal areas yesterday, as well as bringing some abnormally high tides across the Puget Sound, and that low pressure exacerbates that water rise as well. So taking a look here, we put this into motion. This was yesterday, actually the 26th of the evening. Then as we go on overnight, we can see the system bearing down on us here. Now we're starting to go into the morning of yesterday here, and what really brought us the winds across the inland areas was this pressure rise back in here. So see, as we go through the afternoon, finally the pressure rise arrived across the area, 55 miles per hour at SeaTac. Had 50 at my house here. Some pretty good winds through the Willamette Valley as well along the coast of Washington, and of course Oregon got hit the hardest. Even had some pretty good thunderstorm activity moving through the area yesterday, and that's bent back occlusion shown here, really driving onto the Oregon coast. Had well over 100 lightning strikes with that feature there. But as you can see, we put this back into motion, and this system is finally clearing out of our region here. We're going to continue to bring systems here through the area, but nothing looks too abnormally strong as of right now. We'll keep monitoring that as things can change rapidly this time of year. Taking a look here, you can see some of the areas that got over 36 mile per hour gusts. This is outlined by the National Weather Service. Seattle here, Holcomb Airport, you see 55, Whidbey Island 48, Port Townsend 56, SeaTac 55. There's my house right there at 50, Federal Way 52. So a pretty good windstorm. Nothing earth shattering, but pretty good wind gusts. You can see Crystal Mountain 72 miles per hour here, Sunrise Mount Rainier 65, Tacoma 54, Port of Tacoma, for example. And you can see up towards San Juan County, Lopez Island, Friday Harbor, pretty good wind gusts up there as well. Anacortes 45, Olympia 48, Bellingham 51, Westport tide gauge 64. So not a bad storm, but not a world class windstorm. Now taking a look here, this is Spokane, always with the good graphics out there. Watch out for the warm up, some urban flooding as possible, small stream rises, field flooding, poor drainage. Just had to point this out. They're always good with their graphics over there, National Weather Service Spokane. Now, this is the snow continuing on in through today. You can see some of the Rockies and Montana still dealing with some wintry weather coming up here, and some additional snowfall potential as we go on in through this week, towards this weekend, across some of the higher terrain. But you notice no lowland snow in the forecast for now, and no big windstorm for now. Of course, we're going to continue to watch this as we go. We'll also take a brief look at La Nina and the sea surface temperatures and the extended forecast here later in this video, so hang with me for a moment. This is the European yesterday afternoon. This is the GFS, just trying to see what's coming up next here across Pacific Northwest. You see, we're going to have some systems rolling through. As you can see, these lobes moving close to the Pacific Northwest, but nothing huge yet. But this can change rapidly again, as I said. You can see the Gulf of Alaska troughing remains active here, potentially leaving the Pacific Northwest and some troughing with storm systems, as well as diving all the way down towards the California coast. So not bad agreement, really, with the active weather continuing between the GFS again on the right versus the European here on the left. We'll scroll through that one more time. You can kind of see that active Gulf of Alaska troughing there, swinging lobes back across the west coast of North America here. Pretty good agreement all the way up through hour 140 really shown there. Now this is looking at the precipitation type, and just kind of looking at low pressure systems moving across the area here. So you can see frontal system reaches us Thursday afternoon and evening, then another one as we go through Friday morning. Pretty deep low moving towards Haida Gwaii there, north tip of Vancouver Island. Some breezy conditions, nothing like what we just had. You can see some of these storm systems tracking all the way down through California here, as well as the Gulf of Alaska stays active here. So we'll watch these day by day. It's that time of the year where things can change quickly. This is the risk for high winds experimental product here. They're still showing something out here for the early portion of January here as we go on into the new year. We'll continue to watch that. Like I said, things can change rapidly this time of year, and slight risk of some heavy snow across the Cascades all the way down through the Sierra Nevada, even moderate down there. As you saw, some of these systems are going to be driving down through California as well. Very much appreciated down there across the state of California for sure. This is risk of heavy precipitation. You can see that moderate for the state of California here too. And we do have slight for the Pacific Northwest, mainly Cascades west. This would include British Columbia here as well. Now take a look here, 6 to 10 day precipitation. We're still in the above normal here as we saw. We're going to have these systems rolling through the Pacific Northwest here, and you can see California kind of bullseyed there as we go on into, this is January 6th, 2nd through 6th shown here. Now this is looking at the Pacific North American Oscillation here. You can see the European, a lot of the runs with GFS and European and the ensemble deterministic have us kind of hanging around, not much going on. You can see the weeklies. You can see this sign for going back possibly negative here as we go on into mid-January. But really, this isn't too much of a signal right now, but it does show some time below zero here as we go. So maybe the active weather will continue after a break here through mid-January. But again, this is just kind of looking at tea leaves and whatnot at this point. This is the La Nina prediction here, and you can see that we're supposed to start climbing out of this La Nina period here as we go on in through February. We should be out of it by there, at least most of the models say here. And then by the time we get on into May and June, July, August here, we're going to be in neutral territory with the potential for El Nino at that point. And you'll see only one outlier has us remaining in La Nina as we go through the summer. Wouldn't that be something if we had 4 in a row? But extremely unlikely at this point. We are probably headed toward a neutral year at least, and possibly an El Nino year as we go on in through next year. So take a look at the sea surface temperatures here. This is from November 28th shown here. And if you look closely, you can see the dates go by. There's December 7th, 14th, 20th. And if you look off the coast of South America here, you can see some yellows starting to show up here. It'll run it again. You see the blues dominating the Central Pacific Ocean here, but now we're getting the yellows here, a little bit above average water starting to creep up here. And that's probably the sign that La Nina is now on the way. And you can see it incorporating across some of the equatorial Pacific as it starts to push out to the west here. So La Nina is still in charge here. We're on the cusp of a moderate/weak La Nina right now. But we have some weaknesses showing up here in the La Nina as we go on in through the end of December here. So yeah, pretty quick video today. Just talked about that windstorm a little bit, and we do have systems coming in here. Things can change. We could spawn another strong system moving for the Pacific Northwest. We still have atmospheric river potential as well. We're going to get some pretty good precipitation amounts across Pacific Northwest as well as California. So we'll watch out for that. We'll watch out for flooding concerns, and we'll see if we can build this snowpack up nicely again as we head on into January. And, I think I have a hunch we're going to be flirting with Arctic air again at some point this year. It may not be till February. It might be early March, something like that, or it could be January. The closer to January these Arctic blasts are, the better if you like snow across the region. It's just a cooler time of the year for us. The sea surface temperatures are lowest, and polar vortex is usually the strongest at that point in January. So we'll be watching out for that. And yeah, I may take a day off here upcoming here. I got to go pick up my probes on the coast. So maybe I'll do a live stream when I go out there, and you guys can ride along with me, and we'll go look at some waves or something. But if not, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll continue to watch to see if anything changes. Thanks to all my new subscribers, my new members. Again, you guys make this channel possible. I don't get to reply to all the comments. There's so many, but I do read them all, keep them coming. Very positive place to be, and we hope to keep it that way. A lot of the online territory there can be some negative comments, but this seems to be 99% positive stuff here. So great weather community here in the Pacific Northwest. Thanks to you all, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.